I had a lot of music with him live over the years, but we never recorded together. I've been writing a musical for the last 6 years. That's why you haven't heard an album. And we've just found a home for it to start developing it. It's a musical of Tender Mercies, which was a great movie that came out in the 80s. And Horton Foote wrote that screenplay. And it's like Horton wrote the screenplay, and his buddy Robert Duvall, Horton kind of got Duvall his first movie role because he was adapting To Kill a Mockingbird, and they hadn't cast Boo Radley. And down last week of shooting, and nobody wanted that role. It's a non-speaking role, last 10 minutes of the movie. And Horton said, "I know a guy," and I got Duvall his first screen role. And later on, after the Best Supporting Actor Oscar for, I think it was Godfather Part 2, Horton had the screenplay, and he took it to Duvall, and Duvall moved heaven and earth to get it made, and it's a great movie. And Horton's been gone a while now, but his daughter Daisy and we're making a musical of Tender Mercies. We've been working on it for a while. So. Meanwhile, because we found a home to develop it, my hands are free to write something else. And I started thinking about what I see from New York City, which is where I live, and because I moved there to do music for theater, I get a pretty bird's eye view of, what built this country, all those people coming in from all over the world, right there in that spot. But I'm from San Antonio, Texas, and I've had an eyeball on this for my whole life. The only thing I've ever done besides this was hammer nails. I dropped out of school when 1971, when the minimum wage was $1.60 an hour, and the most I ever made framing houses was $2 1/4. There's no real future in it for me because I fell off houses a lot. I had terrible balance, but I did learn the skills. I can read a California Rafter book and a Swanson Square, and I just ended up. The first crews I worked on were all guys that looked like me, and we worked till 3:30 in the afternoon, and then we knocked off and went to the beer joint. And I thought that's just the way it was. Most of these guys were a few years older than me. But it was on one of those crews that had a foreman. His name was Cruz Allende. And he had came to work one day and took over as the foreman. And after a few weeks, we show up for work and nobody's there but Cruz. And Cruz says, "Hey guys, good news and bad news, but the contractor, Ed, he went belly up on this, and my cousin's gonna take it over." And the other guys just started wrapping up their stuff and getting in their cars. And I said, "Hey, he said we still have our jobs." And one of them said, "You can't work with Mexicans, man." And I'm like, "What the fuck does that mean?" He said, "They work too hard." And you know what? They did. They worked really fucking hard, the hardest I've ever worked in my life. And I figured it out. I kept a job because for me, I was 17, and I didn't, I didn't mind working hard. And as far as I knew, nothing cool happened until after dark anyway. And at $1.60 up to $2 1/4 even, I never had a check over 85 or 90 bucks till I started working with these guys. Because they worked from can't see to can't see. The crews that would say, "Watch Channel 5 News." Channel 5 was the authority as far as he was concerned. And see what time they said the sun's coming up, and show up an hour and a half after that. And that's what we did. And then we'd work until it got dark. And if there was a draw he could make on a Friday, we strung lights and we worked until we made that draw. Now, I didn't care. If I was going to work, I wanted to make money. And these guys, I learned a lot, and I learned about how that there were two different construction businesses going on in San Antonio. San Antonio has more than doubled in the time I left there. There was 430,000 people there, and it's way, way, way more than that now. And these guys kind of helped build it. It was a real building boom. I got to Tennessee, and I had to work in a restaurant for the first time because they weren't building shit there. That was my first experience with a recession. But I'd work, and the other thing that was an improvement as far as I'm concerned was, the first day I get out my bologna sandwich at lunchtime, and here comes Cruz's wife with 2 wide-mouth thermoses full of carne guisada and a stack of flour tortillas she'd just made about that tall. And those guys start making tacos, and I'm looking at this bologna sandwich. And I'm looking at those tacos. And I'm looking at that sandwich, and Cruz with a whole mouthful of carne guisada goes, You know, man, you don't have to eat that shit. And from that point on, they took $5 out of my check and I got tacos too. And it was like those guys, some of them they were all related to Cruz in one way or another. Some of them were teenagers that would come up from Mexico and stay for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, take the money back. Some of them stayed and built lives for themselves and become lead men and became contractors. And most of those folks became citizens eventually. And I found myself wondering where, I tell stories all the time by creating a character that's not me and have him tell it to you. And I just wondered where those guys are and what they think about all this stuff that's going on. So when I finished this, I knew exactly how I wanted to record it. I have some friends in Los Angeles have a band called Los Lobos. And, we got together in a recording studio in Virginia a couple of months ago, and we recorded this, and it came out yesterday on New West Records. And, we've been touring together and sitting in with each other for. It's the first thing we've ever recorded together, and we're really excited about it. And it's called Volver a Sallaya, which is back to Celaya, and it goes like this. I was born in the city of Sallaya, deep in the heartland of Mexico. There's work to be had and no key doors, but I was young and I had to go. There must have been troubles and trials. I only remember the river was low. On the other side I caught her riding off to San Antonio. I had a cousin of mine on a carpenter crew. Lied to his boss and he put me on. I hadn't a clue what to do and he knew, but I caught on. In the swing of a hammer, a lifetime flew by. I raised a family, but now I'm alone. Volver a Sallaya, I'm going back home. I began building a life brick by brick. I did alright and the contractor sponsored me, and I got my citizenship. I married Fair Graciela, his daughter. Soon there were children, but now they're all grown. 2 of our boys went to fight in Afghanistan. 1 of them didn't come home. They were raised to believe in this country that I barely recognize now. The Negro come masked in the night without warning. The children scream when they knock the doors down, and the angels took my Graciela. There's nothing left here for me now that she's gone.